Dear colleagues, good evening. Welcome to today's meeting. It is Thursday, the 14th of August, and as usual, per schedule, we're having a direct broadcast, a meeting where we discuss the updates and the recent news in the development of the string transportation and our platform RSW systems. Let's check the connectivity if everything is okay with audio and with the video. Give me a score from 1 to 10, please. Well, I see tens, which means both. You can see and hear me. Good. Lots of tens. Then we can start. And dear friends, today we are going to have quite a productive and active meeting. It's because our meeting is going to be attended by a special guest, special speaker, and many of you know that person. Today we're going to be joined by Dmitry Slusar in the next 20 minutes. And today, in addition to our regular news and updates, we're going to talk about a unique UST promotion instrument, which is AdMix Reality app. And we announced it a couple of months ago that we were enrolling people into a closed community, a focus group, for us to be able to showcase to you the efficiency of that instrument. And the first focus group ended their tests of this tool, of this instrument, and Dmitry is going to share some astounding results that some of our active partners achieved who used the tool actively and correctly and did everything we recommended them to do. And we're going to talk about it with Dmitry on a separate note on the sidelines. And at the end, we're going to give you some news. But let's not jump the gun. I will tell you about it later, okay? In this case, dear friends, let's go through the current agenda. Let me remind you that our main focus right now is on the event that is going to be held in September this year from the 11th to the 13th of September, which includes 2 days of the non-rocket space exploration, which is the 12th and 13th of September, and then one special day for the purchase for the buyers of the ticket on the 11th of September. They will be able to visit the Eco Technopark and the UTerra laboratory, and also Dr. Unitsky's museum, which is on the territory of Eco Technopark. Let me remind you, dear colleagues, dear partners, that before the August the 21st, we urgently recommend those investors who would like to attend the event physically do purchase your tickets before the 21st of August. It is because it will make the organizers' work and life easier. They will make sure you're accommodated properly, that all the organizational matters are handled. And for them, it is better if you do that before the 21st of August, which is very close by, very near already. So, dear colleagues, if you haven't yet made up your mind to buy the ticket and come to the event, make up your mind. And then, if you want to buy the ticket, buy it before the 21st. Also, there is an opportunity to participate online, which is still the possibility is an offer on our platform, starting from $1 to $2 to $5,000 tickets, and that offer will be available until the 31st of August. So if you want to just participate online and you don't want to come physically, then you will be able to purchase the ticket within the next 2 weeks. So it is important, dear friends, to make up your mind and do so in the next 2 weeks. And if you want to be there in person, then you have 1 week to make up your mind. So, dear participants, out of those present here today, are there any persons, people who are coming to the event? Let's do this small roll call. I repeat, please tell me if you are coming, then say I'm coming or yes, something like that. Oh, I see Suraj is coming. Then Angelina is coming. Sanjeev Singh is coming. Good. I see already, what, three, four people? Three people. And I see someone says no. So I guess if you say no, so you're not coming, but probably you purchased the online participation ticket. Okay, Satish, I see you confirmed what I said. So thank you very much, dear colleagues, for your activity. Those who are not coming yet will be there online. Then I would like to remind you, those investors who are not coming to the event, you will still be able to participate online. Just a kind reminder. Participation online is another form of participation, which is available thanks to our modern technologies. You can participate in the conference from the comfort of your home and be part of that huge event. So this is clear. And what else I wanted to add to that? I wanted to just shortly touch upon a topic which will make it clear. And I mentioned it during our previous meetings some time ago to make it clear why the UST technology and the GTI holding, with all the companies included, requires funding in the short period and in the upcoming years. And before I tell you, I would like to have your opinions and your understanding why the GTI group of companies needs funding through crowd investing, I mean. And then I will give you some points of my own that I mentioned before. Dear colleagues, that was my question to everyone. Why do you think the company needs funding in the short run and the next couple of years through fundraising, through crowd investing? What are the reasons for continuing fundraising efforts for the GTI holding and for the entire group of companies, GTI? Why is it important? Please, dear colleagues, don't be shy. I do need your feedback. I will tell you my reasoning, my thoughts on it, but I would like to have your understanding to see whether you understand. Satish says it's a commercial project. Well, commercial projects, they develop autonomously in parallel. Usually commercial projects are funded by the customers themselves, or it can be a public-private partnership. For example, if it's cargo transportation project, usually it is funded by private for-profit companies that fund the project from their own budget. Then someone says commercial projects, targeted projects, scaling up. Well, I already mentioned regarding the commercial projects. As for scaling up, yes, I took note of it. Elmer says, please repeat the question because I lost the connectivity there for a second. So my question was, why do you think GTI Holding group of companies needs funding through crowd investing in the short run and in the upcoming years? So while you're writing, let me remind you that we have this rule that please ask your questions, Google translate it into Russian so we don't spend time on translating it. So I don't spend my time, your time on translating it in Google Translate. So if you have a question, then first please translate it into Russian. It's our lingua franca right now, and then paste it in the chat. And then we won't spend extra time on translation. So we'll spend that time doing something more productive. So, guys, those of you who answered my question in different in a language other than Russian, please translate it into Russian and then copy paste it in the chat, and I will read your comments. Someone says the money will be spent on transportation modifications. Okay. Michael says building tracks 6 and 7 in Marina Gorka, production of cargo, transport Unicont. Then someone says to pay engineers because the company will use profits to pay dividends. Well, good point. Thank you. Someone says to go to the market. It's an important point. Lots of financial tasks and processes that need to be implemented to gain reputation in the market. Elmer says, I think it's because the total number of sellable shares has been defined but not yet sold. Well, on the stock exchange. Well, we're not talking about the stock exchange yet. We're talking about the original issue. And so, but I will tell you more about it. Yuri says to speed up the product entry into the market, to help implement stage 15 and go to the market. Good. So let's start with the last thesis or point that Maria wrote in order to implement stage 15. So tell me, do you think the original 15 stage plan is still relevant? This is my question to you. Do you think those originally conceived 15 stages are still objectively relevant based on the current situation and based on the financial needs of the company in the short run and in the long run? And we'll talk about that topic too. So yeah, I kind of miscalculated the time by telling you that Dmitry will join us in 20 minutes. Well, 20 minutes from now, okay? So let's talk about the relevance of the original 15 stages. Do you think it's still relevant, this plan, or not? And then we will go back to the reasons why it is relevant or not relevant, and also regarding the funding required. Let me give you a hint. Someone says we, the more time we take to close stage 15, the better for me. Someone says, okay. So what was the stage 15 all about? So what it meant for the entire process? Maria says, it is still relevant. Maria says, okay, thanks for your comment. But regarding the relevance, I think it's debatable. Friends, we have quite a number of people here. So please be active. Don't be shy. because just one person answered my question about the original 15 stages. Well, two people now with the last comment. Raffaele Doncilio says, of course, a lot of things still to be done. In my opinion, stages are not relevant anymore. Oh, well, the mistranslation here is valuable, but it's, of course, you meant relevant, not relevant anymore. But yes, the original 15 stages set the course for the company, for the development of the technology, and it consisted of two big like components. First is the funding to implement things, and second is the engineering work and construction work. As for the second component, there were no problems there. And we know that Dr. Initsky delivered more than planned over the last 10 years of the UST incorporated development. They achieved way more than planned with the same amount of money. So if we take a look at the stages, then Dr. Nitsky and his team overachieved. But as for the required funding, there have been problems because at every stage there was some lack of funding. And in other words, the works of the engineering company were underfinanced. So every stage is valuable, but I guess probably you meant relevant or irrelevant. But what I'm telling you is this is how we should perceive the original stage, and this is how what we can predict to happen in the future. Someone says that 15th stage is not relevant anymore because high-speed transportation will be implemented on a new soil, US territory. Well, I will write it down about the singling out of UST into a separate course or vector, but we will have to dwell on it a little further. Next, there's a person with the nickname DNK. Stages are just not really relevant. What matters is to have dividends, at least by the age of retirement. Well, I agree. Yuri says it gives more opportunity, better opportunities to more bigger number of people to become co-investors. I agree because the holding has still 70 billion shares to sell. Plus, there are shares to sell from the personal pool of Dr. Unitsky, which gives an opportunity to more people to join the technology and to support the operations of the holding company, and also to expand the crowd investing efforts that we're all engaged in and to attract more people into that business. Let's see. Maria says the stages show us what has been achieved so far. Well, Maria, I already mentioned it in the past regarding stages and showing what has been done. Well, you know, more has been done than planned with that money. Elmer says, let me see, Elmer. Well, I don't really understand what you mean here. Probably again, it's mistranslated from the Spanish into Russian, so either reformulate and we'll get back to you later. Vera says, I think every stage requires a certain amount of money, And stages are good for understanding and analyzing the situation. Nick P says that if we do not reach 15 stages quite soon, it means that I will purchase more pre-IPO shares, millions of them, which means bigger dividends. Well, true that. So let's go back to stages. The 15th stage in particular, and stage number 15 was 80-90% about high-speed transportation, HST, right? But we also know that the holding company, GTI, announced cessation of fundraising for this particular project. But for us, being investors into UST and investors in GTI, we need to understand, it's important, that high-speed transportation wasn't really separated totally. It's just a continuation of the development of the technology, but with a different investment vehicle or different way of attracting investments through other than crowd investing. And we should consider it not as a separation of highest speed transportation into a separate process, or rather than what Dr. Nitsky is doing right now in the United States is the continuation of the development of the technology. And we are all have a 5% stake in that project, whereas we only raised funds for 1% of the money required. So the balance, the 4%, was given by Dr. Nitsky from his personal pool of actual shares as a token of gratitude to the supporters of the overall technology. So money was raised in the amount of 1% for the high-speed transportation through crowd investing. For the works that have been performed, I'm not going to go into detail what kind of works. I mentioned it in February, March 2025. I gave quite a detailed description of work in the high-speed transportation area. But what matters here is that we raised 1% of funds required for the high-speed transportation. So we got 1% stake plus 4% stake from Dr. Nitsky. So GTI, in other words, has a 5% stake in the American company. So saying that it has been separated, it will not be quite correct. It's just a continuation of the efforts with the different investment vehicle, different ways of collecting money. And for us, this process is ongoing. And let me remind you that on our updated platform that we're going to launch in the near future, you will get an exclusive opportunity to support high-speed transportation through our platform. And it's going to be also a kind of crowd investing process, because we as investors will come from crowd investing to invest in the American company. And you will be able to do so from our Micron Global platform. And it's going to be great because the UST investors have the skin in the game. They are interested in investing in high-speed transportation because it is a very promising area. Because here there is a certain connection between high-speed transportation hub that is going to be built in the United States and the regular UST. In the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be implemented, and by raising $750 million, let me remind you the main points here. And at least $150-200 million from that $750 million raised will go to GTI in the form of orders for engineering works, blueprints, design works, startup and commissioning, etc. Because GTI owns UST Incorporated, and UST Incorporated will perform those works for the American company in the amount of $200 million. And for the GTI, the American project is a commercial project. So this is your connection and why it is important for us and profitable for us. Why do you think? So the implementation of the US hub will help us capitalize our investments because 150 to 100 million dollars as revenues for GTI owned company is good news. It is There is a direct correlation to us being able to share in the profits of UST Incorporated and GTI. This is the quite profitable model of profit sharing and of going into the market with the high-speed transportation technology. We're talking about the engineering school, the engineering company of Dr. Initsky in Belarus. So what I'm driving at here is that stage 15 was revolving around high-speed transportation, but because high-speed transportation is no longer funded by GTI, well, in this case, stage 15 loses its relevance, original relevance, of course. I hope that's clear. So I think it would be reasonable on GTI's side to update their plan and to update their information, or better redact, change the information to better reflect the relevance of the stages that have been achieved and to show that stage 15 is kind of no longer part of the original plan. It's not doesn't have the same relevance as it had in the original course set for the development. And I hope this information will be soon updated and we will have some de jure justification or explanation why GTI is still will be funded by crowd investing, why pre-IPO shares will still be sold, and why it's going to be relevant for the next couple of years. But the way I see it as an investor in the string transportation technology and as the head of our crowd investing platform, why funding is still needed and will be needed in the next near future. It's quite simple. It's on the surface here. So point one. Currently, the engineering company and its product, which is urban and cargo transportation complexes, they are going into the market right at this moment. And currently, the company is spending a considerable amount of money for marketing and commercial promotion of those two main products, which is urban passenger and cargo transportation string transportation systems. So right now, it is the crucial moment to make sure that those products not only go into the market, but also scale up, which requires quite a lot of money. Just take a look at the number of marketing offices of the company across the world. We have an office in the CIS region, the Emirates, Indonesia, and the United States. So there are 4 marketing offices, representative offices, which involves a lot of work, a lot of different business trips and flights, negotiations, and other efforts and operations, including the engineering works too. So all of it, of course, requires financial injections into those operations. Those two products have dozens of sub products. Well, by sub products, I mean quote unquote, is, for example, urban passenger transportation has different kinds of models and rolling stocks, different kinds of tracks, and assembled in different ways with different components. For example, the economy to VIP and premium class cars. So this is what I call sub-products, different subtypes. Also in the cargo transportation, there are different subtypes. It's bulk cargo, container transportation, liquid cargo transportation. So those two main products the company has also require regular upgrading, improvement, testing of those models. Also, you rightly wrote it, dear colleagues, in the chat that testing track number 6 needs to be finished both in Eco Technopark in Belarus and also in the United Arab Emirates. And all of it also requires funding. So here we have this bifurcation, like a crossroads. The company could finance its operations from the orders they receive, but unfortunately, all those orders do not provide enough money to cover all the costs. Because let's be objective about the scale of the company in terms of the orders in the pipeline. And the scale has not yet reached the necessary level to fully cover all the costs, all the costs. And we know it from all the open sources. And the company is fully transparent about it. So, friends, this is another fact that we need to be aware of, that the company still doesn't fully cover all of its costs to including the marketing costs, the commercial operations, the improvement, the creation and of new types of rolling stocks and the improvement of the old ones. And thirdly, which is the biggest cost item, I guess I should have mentioned it first. It's the payroll, the salaries to the personnel of the engineering school and engineering company. We're talking about millions of dollars per month here. Because in the holding company, well, not even holding company, in the engineering company, there is there are nearly a thousand people working, engineers, development reps, marketing reps, different heads of the department, etc. And considering that there is also always almost 1,000 people working in the company, payroll is the biggest cost item in the budget. So let's imagine that the engineering company or the holding company GTI, which includes everything, the UST Incorporated, SV Plant, and other sub-organizations, they're all part of the same structure. So let's imagine that a company receives an order in January from a client, from a commercial client. Let's suppose that an order was placed January this year. So for 2-3 months, half a year, the company is negotiating with other potential customers, but the money hasn't come yet, and the money will come in August or September this year. But the work has already been done or is being done, and the work might have started a couple of years back, but the salaries still needs to be paid. So the company, as an example, gets the advance payment in September after receiving the order in January. So they received an order in January, but for half a year they've been working, they have been preparing things, negotiating, but the money is still to be received 6 months later in January or in September. So where will the money come from for the salaries, for the software, for the office equipment, etc., etc.? It's dozens of thousands of dollars. And what about the certificates and patents? And the pool needs to be updated all the time. And then the rent of the land needs to be paid too. Where the money will come from to cover other cost items. For example, if an order, first order, was placed in January this year, for half a year, the company did not receive other orders, but has been negotiating with other companies. Of course, the order might be big enough to cover those 6 months, but that money will come too late, might come too late. So where the money could come from? Please tell me, give me your answer. Well, it's kind of a rhetorical question, but I would like still to know whether you know, because I'm not the only one who needs to understand. I guess our investors should also be on the same page. I hope you understand my question. So when the company has just gone into the market and has started receiving their first orders, but they're not yet regular orders. It is not a continuous flow of orders and scope of work that the company could perform and receive continuous cash flow. So in this kind of example, will the company be able to cover all its financial needs without additional investment injections? Dear colleagues, I hope you haven't fallen asleep. We have 130 plus people here. Dear colleagues, I'm waiting for your feedback. Gregory says, well, it's unlikely that the company is going to be able to support itself under this scenario. And yeah, let's be realistic about it. The company right now cannot ensure 100% of its costs. And Satish rightly said that crowdfunding is the source of finance. You're absolutely right. And Tatiana says, by attracting new investors. I agree. And this is how we should perceive it. It is very important to understand that under the current model that we have, funding model, at the stage that we're at, I'm not talking about the holding development stages. I'm talking about the stages of the maturing of the technology itself. Right now, we are just entering the market, and it's quite logical that the GTI holding company will have to finance all the current costs related to the entire group of companies of GTI. And it's quite logical. And when a person sets up a business, especially a big business, very often it happens that the investor or the founder of the company pays for the cost out of their own pocket for quite a long time to cover all the works performed by the company. And it happens for a long time. For example, Tesla, if you remember my breakdown that I did based on the open source data, we remember that Tesla started making its first profits 16 years after its foundation. And during that time, it was subsidized by different governments and loans and private investments made by Elon Musk too. And when Elon Musk bought the company, and Elon Musk didn't found Tesla, he bought Tesla. And he worked for a year with the original founder. He sold PayPal, and then he invested 50, $60 million into Tesla, or was it 5, $6 million into Tesla? So 1 year later, he did some power play and forced the original founder out of the game. So Elon Musk didn't found Tesla. He bought the company. It was kind of a hostile takeover, I think it can be called. You can read about the history of the company. And Elon Musk wasn't quite decent in what he did to the original owner and founder of the company. But it's kind of, we were sidetracked here. So again, it's a standard procedure when a big business is created and then it's funded by the investor himself. In our case, the authorized capital of the company is our investment, is comprised by our investments, by us, which allows us to make a conclusion that in the next year, 2, 3, or 5, while the company is until the company starts making regular profits, we will still be subsidizing the GTI through investments, and which is a totally normal practice procedure. And thankfully, the number of pre-IPO shares allocated for sale allows us to do that. The number of pre-IPO shares still for sale amount to 70 billion. And I mentioned it is in spring too. We're talking about the pre-IPO shares in the common pool in holding number 3 and holding number 4. But also Dr. Nitsky has its own pool of shares. He also has his own personal pre-IPO shares because he's the main owner of the technology. But also he's the biggest investor currently in the technology because Dr. Nitsky invested more than 10 million of his own money into the technology. So currently, Dr. Nitsky is working. Well, he's kind of sacrificing his own personal pool in order to support the development of technology, like the pre-IPO shares that he's selling that will be given as a bonus to the tickets to the conference. So Dr. Nitsky, again, I repeat, takes pre-IPO shares from his personal pool to include them in the ticket package, ticket to the conference. Because when we purchase tickets for the conference, we get pre-IPO shares, and those shares will be coming from Dr. Unitsky's pool. So he's decreasing his own share pool, and by doing it, he is also forfeiting his potential payouts, his dividends, part of the dividends. And you also remember that if dividends are paid in 2026 based on the performance of the company in 2025, Dr. Unitsky is not going to take a cent from that money. You see, right? Again, Dr. Unitsky, with his attitude and his behavior, shows that he deeply respects us investors for our contribution, especially those investors who came in year 1 when there was nothing to show for it, when people believed in his words, in his ideas, and still invested, which is very, very dear to Dr. Unitsky. Your trust was highly appreciated by Dr. Unitsky, and it's still highly appreciated by all of us. Then, when Dr. Nitsky shows his gratitude for your support, for your trust back in the day, and now he puts his money where his mouth is. So this is another very curious fact, in my opinion, that Dr. Nitsky is not just an engineer, is not just a designer, but he's also an investor, but also he's the owner and major shareholder. And in each of the venues of his operations activity, he is giving 100% of his efforts. When he's an when in his let's say when he's an engineer, he does 100% engineering. When he's an investor, he does everything an investor should be doing. When he's a designer, he does the same. And I'm very grateful to Dr. Nitsky for being who he is. Do you agree with me? Do you share my thoughts? Sergey says yes. Marlene Zamora says, gracias, Anatoly, thank you. Then I see Quantum says true. Yes, yes. Then Satish, absolutely 100% we support. So yeah, you can see it's not just my opinion, it's the opinion of most of the investors who supported Dr. Nitsky, that he's paying in kind. And let's sum it up based on what we've discussed so far. So we see that Dr. Nitsky, by creating a huge engineering company, by creating two types of products that are now part of the commercial pool of transportation. So Dr. Nitsky overachieved the expected results compared to what was included in the original 15 stages. And his decision to fund high-speed transportation from a different source of funding was very wise and reasonable. Yet we got 5% stake in it. So it is not separated, but it's now a continuation of the same efforts through a different investment vehicle or fundraising mechanism. But still, we have two commercial products that are ready and already going into the market at its own pace. And the works to make sure that it happens are being performed and need to be covered, financially covered, the costs. And the company, unfortunately, doesn't have enough revenues to cover all the costs, including the marketing and innovative efforts. That's why the crowd investing is necessary and is being still implemented. And for that, we still have 70 billion pre-IPO shares to sell from the common pool, plus shares from Dr. Koinitsky's personal pool that he will probably start selling one day to reinvest the money from the sales into the GTI. So thanks to this analysis right now, we can see why the investments are necessary, what for, and also we should realize that it's not something that will happen overnight or in 1 year even. Those fundraising efforts will still be necessary for the next 3 years at least. So what is a takeaway from us here? What is a lesson that we can derive from it? What is the conclusion that we can make as crowd investing community? The conclusion is that crowd investing will be developing even stronger for several reasons. First, we can already see the first results of our work, and there aren't enough fingers on two hands to list all the different manifestations of the technology implementation that we have right now, different rolling stocks, tracks, etc., etc. The results are quite huge, and crowd investing is now easier to do and to promote because we have things to show. There are things, actual projects being implemented. Also, we're going to have a new updated platform launched very soon, which will allow many people to tap into their network activities. And for many people, network marketing might become their main business, which will allow people to earn very decent commission for their time dedicated to that business and for their professionalism. It's an opportunity to build a career, to make good money, and also to lay the foundation for the next couple of decades of their work. Because we know that Dr. Nitsky has lots of different other ideas and projects that will need crowd investing funding. For example, Uterra technology, the production of humus, its eco houses that are also part of Dr. Nitsky's project portfolio. Next, for example, what was the correct name? Was it quadrocopters or? Well, yeah, kind of drones for the cargo transportation. Other string transportation commercial initiatives, because there might be projects coming up that will require crowd investing, commercial projects where the funds will be raised through crowd investing. So again, it will be still easier to fundraise because we will already have successful cases and proofs. And our platform, Micron Global platform, will be able to participate in all those initiatives, both in fundraising and implementation of those projects. We will have exclusive opportunity to raise funds for the string transportation technology in the United States. I'm talking about high-speed transportation. We will have an opportunity to exclusively use the instruments for working with new clients and investors, and the second part of our meeting will be dedicated to it. Also, we will have some exclusive offers that we will learn about once the Micron Global platform is launched, which we should give us understanding of the fact that our work is far from being over. It's just beginning. Right now, we are kind of at the start of it. And the last 10 years was like a warm up for us. We showed that it works. We have the first already commercial project implemented. And Dr. Nitsky himself showed that the power of his idea is his idea is very in demand, and this technology is very in demand, especially when it's supported by hundreds of thousands of people across the entire world. And when all the stars align, this kind of symbiosis can move mountains. And based on by supporting Dr. Nitsky at every stage of development. I'm not talking about the 15 stages, I'm talking about the overall milestones. We can scale up Dr. Nitsky's ideas with less time and with less efforts, yet with better results. So the crowd investing tool that we have right now is a very powerful tool which will allow to bring Dr. Nitsky's ideas to the market better and faster. And Micron Global is going to be our main go-to tool that we will be using for the next dozens of years. And the main tool on our platform is going to be the augmented reality app tool. And many of you have already heard about it, saw the presentation video, and I think that you also saw the video about the US hub, right? Where Dr. Initsky used admixed reality to show how string transportation will look like on that piece of land, on that piece of track. But this admixed reality tool is a better instrument for working with new people once you start working. So right now, I would like to give the floor to Dmitry Slusar, who will share the results, the practical results, and the real cases from the partners who actively used the uh, the recommendations and tips that we gave in our focus group. And now, Dmitry, I would like to give you the floor. You can join us now. Yes, I see that you are with us. And I think many of you will gladly hear what kind of results the first focus group has achieved, which is now over. Well, thank you very much, Max, for your introduction and for the information that you gave us today. By the way, welcome everyone who is with us today, who will be looking us on YouTube as a recording. Please tell me in the chat, guys, how long ago or for how much time have you been supporting Dr. Nitsky and his string transportation technology? It's very important for me to understand that. So in other words, for how many years have you been in the project? I see your feedback and you can see me and hear me well. Good. 12 years, someone says. 11 years since 2017, 2016, 2014, 18, 15, 16. 2016, 16, 2020 from day one. 5 years, 7 years since 2014, investors since 2015. Someone says from day one. Oh, dear colleagues, thank you very much for such active feedback from you. And it's very good that we have old timers as well here, because the information that I'm going to share with you will be very important for everyone. And you will be helping me with my part of the speech, because the answer to my next question will make it all clear. So who of you is actively supporting the project, but not just like an investor, but supporting also in advertising, in promoting, in spreading the word? Do we have such people here who spread the word and not just support with money? So it's very good that we have quite a lot of people who have been supporting the technology for quite some time now. While you're writing, let me remind you and also introduce myself. My name is Dmitry Slusar. I am an investor into the UST technology and have been from day one, from its implementation through crowd investing since 2014, from February of 2014. I'm kind of one of the first few hundreds of people who registered on the platform back then. It was RSW Systems platform. And since then, I have been regularly supporting the technology, and not just an investor, but also as an active partner who has been promoting, pushing the technology forward, advertising it, spreading the word. Well, in short, in one of the funds, I had more than 10,000 people in my team, in my structure, which is just a proof that I haven't been sitting on my hands. I can't say that it's quite a lot, more than 10,000 people, but it's quite a considerable number of people with a total funds raised of $500,000. And then, while I've been following that path of promoting the technology, I faced quite a lot of difficulties, lots of different difficulties. Let me cover a few ground rules, the rules that Maxim mentioned. Please use Google Translator to give your answers, your feedback in Russian right away, because it will be easier and faster for us to communicate. So instead of me translating everything that is not in Russian in Google Translate, I kindly ask you to do it, okay? And today we are going to talk about something very important for me personally, but I'm sure also for everyone else, especially those who are here today with us and who are actively promoting the technology since the very beginning. Dear colleagues, those of you who were in the first focus group, I would like to ask you, if possible, if you have been watching me, and if you are here, please support me in the chat, especially if you share in my opinion, in my thoughts. And also, please make yourselves known too in the chat, especially if what I'm saying resonates with you, okay? So, guys, you have been in a project for quite some time, and let's imagine that you won't need to explain, you don't need to explain Dr. Nitsky's idea for hours. All you have to do is to open your app on the phone and show them the UST technology of the future so that they can see that technology with their own eyes here and now in their location. This is what admixed reality does. It turns presentation into a captivating adventure. And I'm not just saying that. You will see it yourselves by seeing the feedback people give. With that tool, UST technology comes into life here and now, on your table even, in any location where you are. In in a couple of minutes, a person gets this wow effect. Skepticism turns into intrigue, interest, and they start asking you questions about it. And now I will share real stories, numbers, and facts coming from the first focus group, results that will prove the power of such outcome. I have two laptops here. I will be turning my head from one to another to, in order, instead of switching between tabs, okay? And I would like to start from a story of Earl Carriage. It's a person that many of you guys know, a person from the Netherlands. This guy, despite being practically blind, not being able to see anything, I know when every time I realize that, I have shivers down my spine, but it didn't prevent him from making admixed reality crystal clear to everyone else. He became one of the first users of admixed reality app, and for me personally, Earl is a legend, and he is an ambassador of admixed reality. And let me point out right away that I'm not mentioning people, new users. I'm talking about Earl, who's been using it for years and who's been doing it regularly, on a regular basis. And despite the fact that he has certain limited capabilities in terms of sight, he has to use a walking cane. Nevertheless, these guys still uses admixed reality to achieve huge results. What kind of results I'm talking about? 50 registrations in his first line, partners and investors. Geography-based visualization. I will show you what it means. So he can visualize Netherlands, Belarus, the Czech Republic, the United Arab Emirates, and other countries were part of his visualizations. And the key point of Earl, based on his observations, is that our brain does not really differentiate between reality and 3D. And this is the power of admixed reality. And this is really so. And you will see it based from the feedback that I will be reading out to you. By the way, I would like to share my screen and show you something. I would like to show you the protagonists. This is Earl Carriage. Just for you to put the name on the face behind the name. So if you haven't yet met him yet. And now I will be also giving you the names of the first users in the focus group. And I will start from the astounding results. This is Ms. Dorofeeva from Barkastan. And for me, this is a huge, astounding result. This is a person who had no prior experience at all. She was just an investor, and he had a dream of promoting Dr. Niski's technology, but not knowing how. And when she saw the AdMix reality, this is her interview, by the way, she was amazed. And she's sharing in that interview that she had 11 registrations in 5 days and 10 investments. Just imagine a person who had no prior experience took the instrument, started using it, and received huge result: 11 registrations and 10 investments. So please tell me in the chat, what do you think about it? 10 out of 11. And let me tell you right away that all those interviews are posted on AdMix Reality YouTube channel. I will share the link with you a little bit later, or I can... No, let me do that later, when Maxim will be speaking after me. I will share the link to our AdMix Reality YouTube channel. You'll be able to see those interviews myself. So this is not kind of a made-up stories. Those are real-life cases from real people. 11 registrations in 5 days, 10 investors. A person with no prior experience. Alfia Dorofeeva thought that it's going to be very difficult to use it, and it turned out everyone can use it. And it is indeed so, and you will see it. So the key point is just do it. Just do it. And it's her slogan in life. And as you can see, the result didn't take long in coming. Again, for a person who had no prior experience in fundraising or using the app. Ivan Samusevich from Minsk, Belarus. Ivan has a systematic lead generation approach. And Ivan is not the first user, has been using the app for quite some time. He was an active user, then he took a break, then he started using it again because, life is life, and you never know what's coming. And we never should stop moving, and we should share our results. And this is what Ivan did. When Ivan purchased a tablet to be able to use the app, imagine that. And he decided to make a tour of the towns and cities and countries that he wanted to place AdMix Reality on, with a total distance of 3,000 kilometers. He toured 8 cities. And in the first 2 weeks of using the AdMix Reality app, Ivan was able to reach out to 100 new people who never met him before, and who expressed their desire to learn more about UST. Now, please give me in the chat your feedback. Who of you, those of you who are actively promoting UST, who of you would like to achieve the results when you when you reach out to so many people you didn't know before who would be interested in your offer? Please tell me, would you like to get the same number, the same results? And then I will read your comments. So here's the modus operandi of Ivan. Trust showing contact deal. So he doesn't overburden people with information. Every person has its own, of course, procedure. So usually it's some kind of well-known places where he places admixed reality, augmented reality, or some troublesome congested areas. So this is what Ivan does. Places string transportation in congested locations. Oralbek from Kazakhstan. Very interesting person. He used admixed reality to showcase the transportation to his friend. Also, he's been an investor since day one, and his presentation coincided with Dr. Unitsky's conference on RSW systems in April. June this year in summer. So his presentation to his friend coincided in time with Dr. Unitsky's conference. And so his friend, saw the presentation, saw Dr. Unitsky's conference, and that person decided to participate in the Global Space Conference in September. He purchased the ticket. And as Maxim says, it's a very important conference, a very important event on non-rocket space exploration. So Oral Beck managed to convince a person to purchase a $2,000 ticket. You see how it works? You show them, you explain to them, and they make a decision. And they decide to go and meet the designer, the inventor himself. So I can move forward. Yelena Samokhina. Next. First, use first deal. She says that she went out into the street just to practice how to use the admixed reality app. She saw a neighbor, showed it to the neighbor, and that showing ended in closing a deal. And now that woman is paying an installment plan and already paid three installments. So she says that she was able to easily use the app thanks to the support from the focus group. And also she says that the content created with admixed reality boosted her views on her channel by 30, 40, 50% compared to her usual posts. So admixed reality created content gives better conversion, more views, and makes your audience more interested, your potential audience. So just imagine you're just playing around with an app and yet get such amazing results. You create content by creating short teasers that captivate people's attention, and they start asking you, what is it? What are you doing? I like to learn more. So is it actually going? Let me remind you, please do subscribe to Admix Reality YouTube channel. I will share the link a little bit later. So all those interviews are there, at least in two languages. Some of them are in Russian, English, some of them are in Hindi too. So watch those interviews. I recommend it because there are lots of different stories, life stories, and cases that will convince you of this tool being a game changer. And I'm not, again, just saying it. It is fact. Anwar from Uzbekistan, he's using the app on a daily basis. Every time he can, no matter where he is, he starts using that app, Admix Reality. One of his recent cases, he showed it to guests from different regions who visited his town. He showed the visualization, they saw the admixed reality visualization, they got very interested, and they invited him to field trips. And he said, well, if you gather enough people for a presentation in your region with the visualization in your region, I will definitely come and do that and support you. As a result, those people who saw it were amazed, and then they started inviting that person for presentations to their towns and regions. Let me tell you even more. Using that instrument, you will not be just creating content. You will not just be using it face to face. It works both ways. You can also get amazing results when during any kind of presentation. For example, imagine a conference hall with 50, 100 people, and you can start visualizing it in there, in the hall, or somewhere in the open air. Because I know people traveling across countries and across cities and show it in open air as well. And when you use this technology, this app, in an open air, it's just changes the rules. I told you it's a game changer. I remember Jolanta from Latvia shared her experience. She said that this kind of presentations, when you use admixed reality and you use visualizations in actual locations where people live who attend the presentation, usually those presentations, instead of leaving the conference being skeptical, they start arguing where it would be best to implement that technology. They're saying there is a congested area there and there. Instead of putting it on this side of the road, it's better to put it on that side of the road. It's just a fantastic. It's a dream. Please do tell me if you are of the same opinion. Would you like to have the same experience? It would be really I would really be thankful if you shared my opinion, uh, you to share your opinion. I would like to share another case with you, not the recent, but it was a huge discovery for me when I started discovering new things that on which the admixed reality is based. And for me, that case, that story was of paramount importance. It was a cab driver, at the Uber driver. I remember he I was taking a ride and he took me to his neighborhood close to his supermarket, and I visualized UST in his location, showed him how it could like, and that person was so engaged, so interested, so involved that 1 week later he called me, uh, kind of complaining jokingly, saying, why did I take you to my neighborhood? I can't forget about it. And I said, well, look, I called a cab and I went there where you live. It's not my fault. And he said, every time I go to my local supermarket, images of that UST visualized in my neighborhood come up all the time. I simply can't forget it. I see it like in my head. I see it move already. And he said, I don't want to wait. I want to know more about it. So instead of waiting, he traveled 500 kilometers from Kiev to Odessa to talk to me, and he became an investor. It wasn't a big money. It was something around a couple of hundreds of dollars 6 years ago. But the whole story that he saw, he couldn't kind of forget about it. And then he called me. And that's something amazing. And by the way, this tool has been in development since 2017, and we've been testing it for many years. And we've been improving on it. And we've been using it despite the language barriers, geographical, doesn't matter geographically where we were. We used it in Berlin Expo, and remember, our partners were no, we were giving them tablets to visualize, and all they could think about is using that tool. And I remember when the day started, or days started, they and I came in late. They were asking me, Dmitry, why are you late? Give us the tablet. We would like to see it. So this application is wonderful, but it's good for those who actually use it. It's good for those who know how to use it, who use our recommendations, who take in the experience that we share with them. Because for it to work, you need to use it. And I wanted to tell you one more thing. Did Maxim say today, do you remember this video? This video was created in order to show how a piece of land can look like and bare empty piece of land using admixed reality to show them here and now the UST technology and to make people understand how it can look like. And I wanted to tell you one more thing is that admixed reality is a professional augmented reality tool created in close cooperation with UST Inc. And it is used by their team also to preliminarily visualize the transportation of the future in specific locations. And this particular case is an actual proof that neither me or Maxim went there. They just used our app, and it was all done by the UST Incorporated team. Now let me go to our focus group right now and show you what I'm talking about. What visualization means. I know that you know what it means, but I just would like to show it to you. Some of the things. Here's our focus group. We have 189 participants. Quite an active group too. And for example, this is the visualizations created by our members. Some people already know how to use it. Some people are still learning how to use it. So, can you see the visualization in full or in part? Let me do it this way, probably. Yeah, I think this is how you see it full screen. So this is a visualization created by Oral Beck from Kazakhstan that I introduced to you today. So people are showing their results. They are showcasing it. This is Unilight that you already know about as the first commercial project. As modeled, designed by UST Incorporated. As you can see, you can show people, for example, in on your table, on your desk, or you can show it in their yards, in their location, in real scale. For example, I made a visualization in my neighborhood, in my yard. It's Unilight, for you to understand that it was done with my smartphone. How do you like this? For example, this is another visualization. In my yard, in large scale, you see against the background with the multi-storied building, you see with the animation of doors opening, showing how it works. And then we have some comments. It's just for you to understand what it looks like. The geography is quite interesting too. We have visualizations from Ukraine, Kazakhstan, India too, America, Europe, lots of incredibly many different cases that I can't mention them all. Also, we have people here sharing their feedback. Some of them purchased a new phone, and people with different backgrounds, different capabilities, also with limited capabilities, still all of them using this app to promote, to advertise our beloved technology, UST, that was created by Dr. Unitsky. And I would like to read out some other comments from the Telegram channel, like a social proof. Taras says that the features are very good. I liked it quite a lot, and I liked using that application. Taras is the person in the wheelchair. Gulnara from Kazakhstan says that Admix Reality is just the best tool ever. Well, it's the only tool, and it shows everything here and now. And we never engage in wishful thinking. We show how it is. We should never say that it's already there. We're telling people that it could be there, but we're using actual models, and all of it already exists. We just superimpose it, place it in the desired location. Andre says that a picture is worth 1,000 words. I agree. And every participant confirms that Admix Reality allows you to not even to say anything. You can all you have to do is to show without explaining things. Oh, someone gave me thumbs up. That's so cool. I didn't know this feature existed. And all people who use Admix Reality, they notice that it's better not to say anything at all. You just show it to them and give the other person the opportunity to get involved in the process themselves, to activate their own brains, and to allow them to start asking questions. Because the questions they're asking, what is it? Does it already exist? How does it work? Like Oral Beck says in his interview, I recommend you watch it on Admix Reality YouTube. He showed it to his neighbor, and that guy was a senior citizen. He traveled a lot of places, and he said, do you want me to show you something you've never seen? And he said, I've seen so many things. I don't think there is anything I haven't seen. And then he showed him the visualization of string transportation in his yard. This guy literally had his jaw dropped off with amazement. And you will see it all, hear it all from our YouTube channel. Well, to sum it up, the main advantages of it is live picture instead of words. No explanations needed. No need to spell it out using leaflets. You're actually superimposing visualization in the actual location or through your tablet or smartphone. Investors and clients will see the technology in their familiar environment. The project stops being abstract, starts becoming specific, concrete, and creates interest. An immediate wow effect. 2 or 3 minutes will be enough for you to understand whether you will need to continue your conversation with the person. It deals away with doubts, engages emotions. Be ready that people will be very emotional about it. And emotions like, wow, what is it? And then you will have to pry your phone back from other person's hands because they will be so involved. Those of you who are here in our event, please tell me give me your feedback. Who of you already used or is using Admix Reality? Do you agree with me that my words are actually true? Because I don't want to pass for a liar to other people. I know I'm not lying, but please prove. Yes, and the application is works on almost on any device, modern device, It's intuitive, user-friendly. You don't need to be a technically savvy person. You see, Miss Dorofeeva. Also, you can use it with even disabilities like Earl. He's virtually blind and he's yet able to use this app to showcase the technology. And it's a direct proof that the instrument works for everyone who would like to show it to the world. UST technology, I mean. And in conclusion, in conclusion, I would like to say this. Admixed reality is not just a tool. It's a life of style, new life of lifestyle. It's more than just a marketing tool. It's a business creative tool. It's a style of conversation. It's an absolutely new way of thinking. And every person who starts using it becomes like a conductor of UST ideas for their audience. And our audience is the business creative people community who would like to speak about UST technology in the emotional visual language. No dry presentations, only live emotions and impressions that will stick to people's memory from first seconds. And I would like to invite you to join the community of people who are already using admixed reality, who have become an integral part of that process, to those who are already using admixed reality in their business, creative process, and life. So, in your hands, you have an opportunity to show people the future already now. And let me repeat it, be ready to people being amazed and being ready to become your new partners. Sign up to our channel, follow the news. We will give the information about the enrollment into the second focus group, where you will meet in person many of those people that I showed to you today, their interviews. I haven't yet named everyone. We have a very active user from India, Suraj. He created a lot of content, a lot of interesting stories. He's so active that we're still waiting for the chance to make an interview with him and get his feedback. But I'm sure that if you subscribe to YouTube channel of Admix Reality, you will not miss that interview, I assure you. So subscribe right now. I saw the link already being shared, but we'll do it again. Maxim, I would like to pass you the floor, but before I do that, let me tell one last thing. Admix Reality is a game changer, and dear colleagues, it's just the beginning. Thank you very much, Dmitry. You have our gratitude for such a comprehensive overview of the results achieved by the users of this app, and I'm sure that many people present here who haven't yet tried that tool, you now are salivating, meaning like you have a big desire to start using it, right? You would like to have that tool in your hands and achieve the same fantastic results. Like Irma Yasmin wrote, Fantastico. Well, dear colleagues, what I wanted to add on my behalf here regarding this tool. So probably you have noticed that this is a multifaceted tool that you can use in different settings, in different aspects of your life, during your personal conversations with people you know, during conversations with people you don't know, when communicating with people in social media, when creating, developing your own social media brand. Also, you can use that instrument. The company itself is using that instrument to implement their commercial projects. That instrument is very easy to learn. You can literally See it from the example of Yelena, who went out in the street to practice the application, using the application, met her neighbor, and that neighbor invested right away and already made 3 installments. So literally, you test it yourself, and then someone will see you use it. They will come up to you, ask you about it. You tell them what you know, and here you go. You get a new partner, a client in your first line. You earn commission, and that person becomes an investor. And those actions are duplicable. Those new people will do the same. They can use their own phone to use that tool and use it in practice. It's again a duplication system, which the network marketing is all about duplication. It's easily duplicable. It's easy to repeat by anyone, and it can be mastered by a teenager up to a senior person who uses a phone, of course. It's a unique tool. There is no better word for it. And most importantly, dear friends, that is going to be available to every person who wants to promote the string transportation technology and attract new investors. It's going to be available only on our platform, but at the same time, anyone can use it, no matter what platform you're using. So, dear friends, this was the results of the first focus group. And of course, Dmitry and I did draw certain conclusions from the first focus group. Now we know how to structure our work with the second focus group. We'll change the format a little bit, and very soon we are going to announce the date for the enrollment in the second focus group. And it will happen in the near future. I think in the next week, you will see the information published on RSW Systems website and in our Telegram channel. The terms for enrollment and participation will be announced in that news. I'd also to urgently recommend to you, if you decided to become an active promoter of the crowd investing and become a crowd investor and use the RSW Systems platform and Micron Global in future, then for you friends, it is of paramount importance to have this tool. And now you have time to master using that tool. And I urgently recommend you use that advantage, make use of that advantage. So again, news will be published very soon about it, and then we will launch the second updated focus group. The third focus group probably will not be launched within RSW Systems. Probably it will be launched on the Micron Global. But I think the results of the second focus group already will be sufficient in order to convince more people of its efficiency. I think we will have, yes, video testimonials, video feedback from users of the app and investors who are using this instrument. And with the launch of the Micron Global platform, this tool will be available in the updated back office for everyone willing to use it. And then you will be able to acquire it and use it as your main business tool to work with your network. Well, dear friends, what I wanted to tell you in conclusion about today's meeting is to remind you, first, a couple of points that I would like to remind you of. Let's do the summing up of what we've said before, and then I will give you some key points. We see that the string transportation technology is actively developing, is going into the market, commercial dimension. And this growth and scaling up implies quite a lot of costs in the short run and in the upcoming years, which allows the company and gives the company the right to sell more of the allocated pre-IPO shares to collect enough funds to support the activities of the company from the common pool. Remember, there are still 70 billion pre-IPO shares in two holdings. which shows to us that crowd investing will still be necessary for quite some time just to fund the UST, but also in addition to UST, crowd investing will be used for other initiatives, other ideas by Dr. Initsky once the Micro Global is launched, Micro Global platform. There will be again the opportunities to raise funds for other projects and ideas of Dr. Initsky that we will be able to raise funds for using crowd investing. Next, friends, in September this year, in literally 1 month, less than 1 month, we'll have a very significant event, which is a non-rocket space exploration or industrialization. It's the 8th International Global Conference. And this year, all investors get the opportunity to attend that conference, offline and online. If you want to be there offline physically, you need to purchase the ticket in the back office before the 21st of August and to share and to choose the ticket that you would like. The offline participation starts with a ticket costing $2,000 and higher. And also, I'd like to remind you that all the buyers will get as a bonus pre-IPO shares in GTI. Also, it's an opportunity for you to increase your GTI portfolio and also your way of supporting the operations of UST. And also, it might be your main reason why to purchase the ticket, even if you don't want to go to the conference. For example, participation in the conference might be your bonus, and purchasing the ticket for the shares might be your main motivation. So for many people, this is how it's going to be. They will be increasing their investment portfolio to have more pre-IPO shares. And also let me remind you, dear friends, that by purchasing the ticket, you will get an option for shares in the American company. So first you will get options that will be later converted into the shares of the American company. And you will be actual shareholders in the American company that is focused on high-speed transportation. So friends, it's an exclusive opportunity that is time limited, and we have less than 2 weeks left. I'm talking about the purchase of the online tickets. So I urge you not to miss out on that opportunity because I repeat, it's time limited. And also in terms of the number of tickets available, especially talking about the offline participation. So there isn't much time left. And also I'd like to remind you that in the near future, we thought it would happen earlier, but because our efforts were focused on the conference, in the next couple of days, you will see more investment offers for all our clients of our platform with exclusive discounts that will start from 85 to 100 plus, depending on the price of the package, and we'll be able to use those packages will be available to those clients who haven't finished paying their installments in the previous years. And the money that you already paid within your previous installments plan will be counted towards new packages. I think it's quite a generous gift from the company that you should definitely make advantage of. And this offer, those packages will be offered in view of the rebranding efforts, and because the RSW systems will shortly be closing down and moving to the updated Micron Global platform. And the RSW systems will simply be used as an archive. So also wait for those packages to be offered. And if you would like to make use of it, you can do that. And also don't forget about the conference. Okay, friends, this is it from me. It's been 2 hours already. Unfortunately, we don't have time anymore to answer all of your questions that you have in the chat, we will definitely allocate more time to answer the questions that you have today and that you will have next time, okay? Because today's meeting was with two speakers, two parts, and I would like to thank Dmitry for his time and for sharing the results of the Admix Reality focus group and Admix Reality users in general. So Dmitry, again, you have my thanks for your active participation. Okay, friends, I would like to thank everyone present here today and watching us on YouTube. I would like to wish you the best end of the week. We still have one working day, 2 days off. Don't forget about the exclusive offers, participation in the conference, and about the unique investment packages still to come. So wait, use, or buy right now. And also, I would like to give you an advice. Those of you who still have unfinished installment plans, you will have this new opportunity. And if you still have access to AdMix Reality tool, make the best use of it, because it's a wonderful tool to make people interested in the technology, thanks to such unique visualization techniques, especially in light of such exclusive offers as ticket to the conference. Combine it with AdMix Reality and it's in the bag. So again, thanks. Thank you very much and have a nice evening. See you in 1 week on the 21st of August, same time. Bye-bye.